still be balanced and make sense, but that you can go beyond them anytime you wish. I'm going to give you some attributes of human evolution in a moment. But let's return to the autistic one. You're not going to like this at all. Those listening, really ready to shut the page, you really ready to turn it off, I'll tell you. You spent a lot of time, haven't you? You want to know why there are so many autistics being born? It just is out of kilter. There's more autistic children of all kinds of autism being born today than there ever have been on this planet, and you're all scurrying around wanting to know what's wrong. Is it chemistry? Is it what we're putting in their food? Something's wrong. You say, oh, it must be vaccinations. Yes, that's it. Vaccinations must be it. Anything to solve the puzzle of why so many are here. And not one human has looked at the puzzle and says, perhaps we're evolving. And this is the first wave of what we're going to see. Not on balance, but non-linear thinking. Watch the autistic child go through what they do. In its most severe form, they are so non-linear that there is so much frustration in trying to linearize even the human voice as they speak to them. They will do the same thing over and over and over and over to try to linearize the non-linear. The walls are gone in their brain. They are so conceptual. All of the DNA has been activated that is quantum. And they are like the Lemurians. And you see them as what? A problem. And it's not a problem. Blessed are those who come as the new wave to show you where it's going. Oh, it will morph. It will develop. For it will develop in a balanced way where not all humans will be what you call autistic. Indeed, they will have the autistic talents when they want them. And they'll be linear when they want that. That's what the human mind is capable of. Let me tell you something that's nonlinear in your life. We have said this so seldom. You're given two quantum things as a human being. Two things that pass between the other side of veil and this side of the veil that are absolutely quantum, that are not linear. They have structure, but they're not linear. Perhaps you haven't even thought about them. I'll tell you what they are. Art and music. There is no limit to the number of notes that you can hear at the same time that your brain can listen to, can put together. There's no limit to the number of symphony orchestra players that can come together in harmony. And the more you add, the better it gets. Try that with lecturers. You ever think about that? There's no limit to the number of colors that you can comprehend and see in certain patterns that are so beautiful and have communications. Music touches your heart. Now you know why. It's interdimensional. It's quantum. It was designed to. Now, apply that same scenario to communication, and you'll see where you're going. This is human evolvement. It's beginning on this planet. It'll go slow, but that's what's going on. Let me give you a couple of the attributes of what to expect. A quantum mind, as it starts to develop, is one that is going to start understanding what we will call the timing of synchronicity. You call that patience. Patience is a result of a linear mind that didn't get what they thought they would at the time frame they thought it would arrive. Or one who taps their toe because the time frame doesn't go fast enough for them. The impatient person is totally and completely linear. The new consciousness will see a relaxation in patience because there will be an understanding about synchronized timing. Messages will be given, and you won't think that they're given for you to do right now. There will be something placed upon the messages, something that you cannot understand now, for you're not quantum. and that is when in a quantum state, to look forward to the synchronicity. Very difficult to describe to a three-dimensional audience what that's like. Freedom. It's a freedom of thought, so that you're not always stuck in the clock. You're not always disappointed. You're not always goal setting. You are happy just to be. And you know that the things that are coming will happen in the appropriate time, and synchronicity will bring them there. And you won't worry about them. And not have anxiousness about them and go into drama about them. Eventually there'll be no human being who will ask the question, when is this going to happen? Because you're all part of the bigger picture, and you'll know when it's supposed to. And you'll be pleased with that and happy with that. Can you imagine such a state? There's been much said about the consciousness of the children coming into this planet, and we've saved this almost till last. As proof of what we are speaking of is this. We call this attribute becoming more in touch with the Akash. My partner gave a scenario earlier today in lecture, which the listener and the reader did not get. So I will not dwell upon it, except to say that it speaks of a knowledge of what is inside you in the DNA, of who you've been and what you've done in past expressions on the planet. Imagine a child who comes into this planet with the concept of knowingness, a concept of been there, done that. What kind of a child would that create? First of all, it would be a child who does not want to learn in a linear fashion, for they see the end result and the concept as you try to teach them the parts. And that's what's going on today, if you noticed. And so you have children who don't want to sit still while the teacher gives them the pablum of linearity when they already see the result. And you've called it disease. And you've given it names unbalanced. You put them in groups. And you've even drugged them. Humans do that. You're not willing to see the next wave of evolution, are you? Education on the planet right now is convinced that human nature is static, and that is to say it'll never change. And so they're fine with developing learning systems that are over 100 years old. They keep honing them, making them better and better. For the student, they think will have the same consciousness as they did and their parents' parents. And it's a shock when the children come in and know only part of it. And you're seeing it. And that's what's going on. The children are growing up. They're becoming young adults. And they'll go into the workplace. And the employer will expect linear attitudes. And these young people will look at the whole concept of this and reject it. They don't want to walk up the ladder of experience because they've already been there. They have an overwhelming feeling of the Akash. They know they're an old soul. They just don't even know the words. It is in their brain. It is in their concept. They know as much as anyone at the top of the ladder in their minds. Seen it? Yes, you have. And you have to put them in a box, and you have to linearize their thinking. Sometimes you have to tell them it's a game to get them to cooperate, so that they'll fit into society. It's called human evolution. It's evolving before your eyes. And so many of those who are educated and ought to know better are forcing them down, making it even more frustration than they already have. It is evolution. It is clear. It is here. You're starting to see it. Wisdom. An increase in wisdom. Go inside for a moment. Old soul, anyone looking at this, anyone listening to this, and those in this room that are going to be here for another 2 days, go inside right now. I give you a dispensation of non-linearity. Everyone who's watching, everyone who's listening, everyone who's reading, and see who you are.